This video was made possible by the good folks at Next Level Racing. To purchase a cockpit setup like mine or any other Next Level Racing products, check out nextlevelracing.com. What's up guys, it's Mike for SimRacing604, and Project Cars 2 has just turned 2 years old. Yes, fully 2 years since the release date of this racing sim, and I thought in celebration I would run down my 5 favorite cars, my 5 favorite tracks, and 5 great features that Project Cars 2 brought to sim racing that I think probably some other sims could learn from. So we'll start off with the cars, and this one is the Formula Renault 3.5. I didn't love all of the open wheelers in Project Cars 2, but this one is absolutely outstanding, especially with some of the new force feedback files that I have downloaded. Absolutely fantastic car. About Formula 3 capabilities, handles great, and I've had some really awesome times with the Formula Renault 3.5. Next up is the Nissan R89C. The Group C cars are really well done in Project Cars 2, and I think it's probably their strongest category overall, the Group C cars. I don't think there's a bad one in there, but my favorite among them is the Nissan R89C. There's a whole lot of power here, but it handles great, and maybe more than any other car in Project Cars 2, it really allows you to feel the air pressing the car down into the track. You can push this one really hard, and I've had some great times with this one. Next up is the Toyota TS020 GT1 car. The GT1 class is another extremely well done class of cars in Project Cars 2. Lots of downforce, lots of horsepower with these cars. We have a sequential shifter to work with, which is nice compared to the Group C cars, and I've just had a lot of great times with this Toyota. I think it's the best in the class. Next up, the Ferrari 458 Speciale. So this is a track-focused version of the Ferrari 458. This came to us in Project Cars 2 as part of the Ferrari DLC right near the end of development of PC2, and stands out. Extremely capable track car, a lot of fun to throw around. The back end gets a little bit squirrely from time to time, but pulls itself together nicely and makes for a great track experience. And the final car I wanted to highlight is this Radical RXC Turbo. Those of you who have followed my channel for some time know that I love this car, have loved this car for a very long time. It has held up over the years. That same thing with the 458 Speciale, where the back end likes to step out. This car does it a whole lot, but it just snaps back into line. It makes you feel like a superstar when you drive this car, even among brands like Pagani and Ferrari and Lamborghini. Up at the Road A and Road B class of cars, this one stands out. It's not the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about supercars, but this Radical RXC Turbo is fantastic. Shifting our focus now to tracks, the first one that comes to mind is the Daytona road course. Really well done in Project Cars 2. The trackside detail is incredible, and when you talk about courses that are popular in sim racing, you know, just about every sim has Monza, every sim has Spa, etc., etc., etc. But Daytona road course is a really great track by all measure, and not all that popular. So it's great that Project Cars 2 included the track, and I've had a lot of fun here, especially with the 24-hour day-night cycling. Really a great experience. Daytona road course is the first on my list of tracks. Next up, a track that a lot of you must have known was coming, Long Beach. Long Beach is debatably the best track in Project Cars 2. The trackside detail is incredible, the road surface is incredible, and the cameras that they've lined up for replays exactly like you see on TV for IndyCar races. Overall, just an incredible job, really an outstanding track in every facet, so Long Beach is definitely on my list. Next on the list, it's called Azure or Azure. This is Monaco. Most of you know it from Formula One. Outstanding circuit. It's a lot to undertake to recreate this in any sim game, reason being the amount of trackside buildings and the detail and the famous pieces of architecture we know from watching this circuit on TV for a very long time. It's a lot to undertake to recreate this for a sim, but Project Cars 2 did it, and they nailed it. So Azure, definitely on my list. This is classic Le Mans. This is the 1971 layout of Circuit de la Sarthe, and throwing a prototype car around here is an experience that I really recommend to anybody. Even if you're a casual racing fan, I totally recommend this, specifically the second and third sectors of this track. Just incredible, so well done in Project Cars 2. Really gives you a sense of speed in these old-timey cars with the narrow fencing on each side of the track. Great experience. So classic Le Mans on my list. And finally, the last track on my list is the Wildcrest Rallycross track. This is a fantasy rallycross track. Shows you the creativity and real attention to detail by the developers of Project Cars 2, and I have a blast driving this every time I take out one of the rallycross cars. So Wildcrest Rallycross. And to wrap up the video, guys, I'm going to talk to you about 5 features that I think Project Cars 2 does extremely well, and I hope to see carry to future Project Cars titles, as well as incorporation into other sims. We'll start off with the dynamic time and weather. It's something that has now come to Assetto Corsa, but previously it wasn't there, and Gran Turismo doesn't have it. There is weather, but it's static weather. But the fact that it's dynamic and time of day is dynamic in Project Cars 2 really enhances things, and running 24-hour cycles in, the period of 24 minutes or something like that really gives you an incredible sense of what this game is capable of, as well as the weather. You can start out in wet and transition to dry and see how good of a driver you are in both conditions and things like that. So they do that extremely well. Number 2 is something you saw me just talk about, which is the Rallycross. The Rallycross just seemed like kind of a throw-in feature. Most people ignored it and focused on the 100 plus cars that were included in PC2. I might be wrong about that number, but whatever the number was, the focus of the title definitely was not Rallycross. And what I find is that when people actually try the Rallycross feature, that they love it. I mean, me personally, I spend probably upwards of 20% of my time in PC2 just running Rallycross. It's so much fun and really a great feature that I'm glad they included. Next up is the hot lapping leaderboard and setup sharing. So hot lapping is something that's sort of synonymous with Assetto Corsa more than anything, but Project Cars 2 has some cool features to their hot lapping, namely that you can be instantly thrown into a leaderboard and see where you rank. And if you just can't seem to get your setup right, you can just download the fastest lap or one of your friends' setups and try theirs or whatever. It's great to have that setup sharing, and also the native in-game leaderboard to see how you stack up against the world is a great feature. Next up is the career mode with progression. Career modes tend to be either included and really great, or not included at all in a lot of sim titles, and Project Cars 2 does it great. You can start off in kart and then work your way up through the GT classes, or work your way up through the formula classes, however you choose to do it, and just sort of ascend the ranks of racing, and it makes for a great career experience. So that's very well done. And finally, something that I don't think they got exactly right, but I think they were on the right track with, with, which was the race engineer and setup assistant. So setups are something that people who are truly fast in sim racing understand the importance of, but for lay people like myself, it's very difficult to do setups or to work on setups and know what the effect is. So Project Cars 2 said, hey, well, the guys who are good at setups, they all follow the same sort of logic patterns, and we can program that logic pattern. So you tell the setup assistant what is wrong with your setup, and the setup assistant will make suggestions. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's definitely on the right track, and I would like to see all sims include this. Just give you little hints, if nothing else, or maybe even program that logic table like Project Cars 2 has to work the setup with you depending on your driving style and depending on what you are finding your car is doing. So those are my 5 features, guys, and I'm not going to do a review of Project Cars 2. I did a video a while back, not that long ago actually, about whether or not I think it's worth buying, so you can check that out if you're interested. But those are my 5 favorite cars, 5 favorite tracks, and 5 awesome features of Project Cars 2. Happy 2-year birthday to Project Cars 2. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.